All right. Well, welcome to a special edition of Yoda's Hut. I'm joined by Nick Zipper, two-time Star Wars LCG world champion. And we're here to talk about the top cut decks for the summer Star Wars LCG online tourney. So, Nick, I know you've got everything organized. We can just kind of start going through stuff here, however you want to do it.
Exciting summer month here. Slightly lower participation this summer than the past. I think people are traveling a bunch. We'll have to think about how we want to do it in the future when we want to do it. But in Minnesota, we got together and, jammed out a bunch of our games live. And it's Jolly Roger put together a great card pool for this one. It's really cool, and it's neat to see what people have done with the cards I designed and the cards Tyler designed.
Yeah. It was definitely fun to play the games, even though I was learning on the fly with trying to remember what your cards do and what Tyler and Colby's cards do.
Yeah, I think the open system works well for that, though. Like, there's no penalty for trying a deck that just doesn't work.
Right. All right, so I've got you are the first seed.
I'm the first seed. I won half of my games, but I played a lot of games, so.
So we're looking at what you got here. If you want to go ahead and talk about what you came up with, and I guess maybe how you arrived at it, or see a lot of your. I see you included a lot of different, I guess, special sets.
Yeah, I'm Rebel Affiliation. I'm running. So the D is, that's an FFG, but that's the dyad one.
Right.
Rebel Affiliation. I'm running. The Han Zeb dyad with Broken Horn, Smuggler, and then I got 4 Jedi pods with the Boy is the One, Daughter of Tanab, and Journey to the Temple. So it's a tricolor deck, but Zeb's objective has influence on it.
Right.
So it seems to work, and those droids wind up drawing you 3 cards, or give you 3 cards to look at, and it's got a lot of oomph to it. So I don't know. It seems to have been pretty good. We'll see how it does in the cut.
Yeah. So yeah, well, you certainly can get a lot of affiliations going with Broken Horn being in there and the split you have.
I think in one game I had Broken Horn out and eventually Vizago on the table. So I just I put 4 focus tokens on the Broken Horn to pay for Zeb.
That seems like a good deal.
And then I attacked. Oh no, I used the Lothwolf to up Zeb's shield count and attacked with Zeb, the Lothwolf, and maybe both Wolfies.
Wow.
Zeb had 2 shields on him at any rate. I only needed to do 2 blasts. So
yeah. Did you get a lot of mileage out of Han and Chewie, or is it more Zeb?
Han does a lot. I think he seems to do a lot for the deck. He's kind of he controls the board, of course, better than Zeb.
Right.
But eventually you get both of them out. So
and Surrender seems a little random, but I assume you have a reason for that.
Yeah. Well, so the Boy is the One has a great text that if you control a Force user and a Force sensitive, you get to just remove a focus token off on one of your units after your Force phase.
Right.
So Defender's back.
Gotcha.
So, that set comes with Obi-Wan and Promising Adept for 1 Force user and 1 Force sensitive. Lorenda's pod has, she's a Force user and the Godol's a Force user.
Right. That's true.
Return of the Jedi. So they're the Force users, and Journey to the Temple, both of the wolves are Force sensitive. So
okay, that's why. Okay,
so that sort of fleshes that out.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And then your dark side, you got a lot of your pods and and Dark Youth in there too. So
yeah, so I'm running double Hunter in the Night, which seems to be pretty popular. Like, people are looking for removal and dark side. Vader's got removal, but Jas is in some ways a little bit more reliable.
Right.
And a lot of other people are onto this too, that his set has this really nice synergy with Tool of the Inquisitorius.
Right, because it's the night
There's
stuff.
so many night traded things in the Sith pod. So the Devils in some ways seem to be better than Jasper. Those guys get up to like 4 or 5 guns pretty easily.
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
Yeah, Jasper, it is not difficult for him to get his targeted strike, and then you can control the board a little bit.
Yeah. No dyad on your dark side, I noticed. Okay.
No dyad, yeah. Yeah, light side a lot of people are running light side dyads, but there's a fair number of decks that have forgone having a dark side dyad.
Yeah.
And,
some of them didn't seem to synergize quite as well, in my opinion, but
no, they didn't. And I think the side fan pods are, pretty strong. So people are just getting powerful combinations there as opposed to in the dyad itself.
Yeah. Now it looks good. You do have counsel though, so call back to the OG.
That's good card draw. Beyond has removal with the impressive event.
Yeah.
Dark Youth has this just baller event of force blinding.
Right.
Can completely neuter a light side attack. But it doesn't work on ships, and evidently a few people are running capital ships.
Yeah. Impressive got me not just when we played, but somebody else got me with it. I can't remember which one it was. So it's a pretty powerful card.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time you're using it in a counterattack. Like if Darkside can counterattack unopposed, then they play it.
Yeah.
Which, like some people have said, the card shouldn't be able to do that, but it's I think it's fine.
I guess it could. Yeah, it could have been like a
kind of imagine Vader coming in and just doing whatever he needs.
Right. I hadn't paid as much attention to your cards before you and I played that game, and when you played it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's an interesting card. Killed my home one, is what I remember.
Yeah.
So your decks look interesting. I like seeing Boba in there just to get some.
Oh, he's incredible. He can just one-shot an objective if he attacks unopposed.
Yeah.
The deck's got some good control elements, and we'll it gives up damage in the beginning. We'll see if it can.
All right. So I see the start of Kira Mode's second seed here. I can't wait to see what he came up with, because he always, in my mind, comes up with interesting decks that I would never think of putting together.
Yeah.
What's he got here?
Double Veiled Rebellion with Garmbel Iblis.
Okay.
This is a force control deck. He's going to play Garm, commit a bunch of powerful pip units to the force, and just try to hold force and do 3 damage a turn with balance.
Wow.
It is so miserable and so powerful.
Yeah. I just noticed he's only got one regular FFG pod.
I don't even think he wants to attack. He'll attack if the board opens up for it, but he's gonna if light side can take the force on their turn, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Instead of just slowing down the dial, you get a balance damage.
Yeah.
And then if dark side isn't able to take the force back, you basically get 2 damage against them.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised more people aren't playing Garm. He's strong.
Yeah.
I'm also really excited to see what the Alliance to Restore the Republic set does for him.
Okay. Is that the one that's Veil in it?
It's got Veil, black shielding. It has a Rebel Asset enhancement card that lets you enhance I think an enemy unit, and then you can just copy its text onto one of your units.
Yeah.
So I don't know, we could see Boba Fett's text getting shared on any unit that needs it. Devils. Devils, evidently, it's not, their guns aren't based off of night cards you control, but just night cards in play.
Right,
So
right.
like you throw a rebel asset on a Defil, and then suddenly like any light side unit can get a bajillion guns.
Oh, that seems pretty good. So
Yeah,
situational, but good.
yeah, very situational. I think this deck's about playing the long game, but if
Mhm.
the board opens up, it can certainly attack as well. Uh, it's a scary deck.
Yeah, it looks. I said it's got all these sets I haven't played as much since they're the fan made things, and we haven't used them too often in these online tournaments. So be curious to see how it goes. It's definitely never would have thought of doing some of that stuff.
Yeah,
And his
but
dark side deck, he's got a dyad, but he's got a bunch of like he's got raiding the Kyber. I've actually using that, and he's got other legend stuff in there, advanced
how
designs and
has
double.
raiding the Kyber been working for you?
I only had one in there. I kind of just mainly put it in to get a different twist and a resource in my deck. So, but I enjoyed having it in there. So
I was a bit surprised to see how popular that set seems to be. It
yeah,
on my list of Navy sets in my cycle, it was kind of, in some ways, it was the one that popped the least.
uh,
Um, like it had a resource, it had a twist.
right. Well,
You
that's
know,
the main reason I
like
did it.
maybe that's what it brings to the table.
Yeah,
Uh, Squad tactics can do some pretty mean stuff.
yeah. I tried it when I was using the fighter stuff, just because the even though it's a I guess it's a walker, but it's still a vehicle, so I could use quad on it.
Oh, sure.
So that was another reason like it seemed attractive. I was just playing around with things on that. That's not the deck I ultimately decided to play. Yeah, I the Might of the Empire take them prisoner dyad still seems odd to me too. Like I'm not sure what led to that, but
Just it existing as a dyad, or
yeah,
well, Chimera is amazing, and take them prisoner is needs a
yeah,
moment in the sun.
yeah. I guess they just don't seem to fit quite as well as some of the other
Yeah,
things.
they really don't. But I like what he's done here because he's including
Yeah,
double advanced designs, which is the Legends like Dark Trooper Navy set,
right, right, right.
and that's an interesting choice. I'm really curious how that works out for him. It
Yeah,
has
because
a fate card where you can focus a trooper to focus one of light side's attackers.
right,
Maybe just unit. Maybe it can be on attacker.
right.
So that like brings synergy to all your little one drop Death Star troopers running around.
Right, right. He'll have decent amount of troopers with all that stuff. So
And I guess he has some synergy too if he can capture something with take them prisoner
right,
or with the detained, and then use AT-88 to
right, right.
focus tokens on another copy of it. I'm surprised more people aren't playing AT-88.
Yeah.
That scum set's crazy.
Yeah, he seemed good when people have played him against me, and I didn't really. I think I threw him in one of the decks I tried, but again, I didn't end up picking that at the end. I tried to play a few different things in those open play stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I'll be curious to see how Danny does because he always seems to come up with these cool things. All right, then we got
The reigning champions.
last season's champion. That I recognize that light side deck because I know that's what he played against me. And I think he may have played that dark side deck against me. It seems a little familiar too because
yeah, so
hit the table.
he's just he's building the new Jedi Academy there, isn't
Yep. Yes, he is. It's a shout out to Anton with 12 pods.
he? There you go, Anton.
That's right. Anton, I don't know if you're watching. We haven't
Like
forgotten about you. Hopefully you can come back and play again one of these days. So, but 12 pods there.
It makes sense because you get all those little what are they promising? No, future students.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And as soon as an objective is destroyed, they can turn into a main.
Yeah. It was crazy what he was doing with those. When I played him, because he kept bringing different things out, and I was so confused because I was like, how many pods are you running? And then he told me he had 12 at the end. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I kept thinking like, wait, now you're bringing cheer it out. Now you're bringing Tressa out. Wait,
It does
where are
seem
all
like
these things
it'll
coming
make
from?
it less likely that he'll be able to start the game with Spark out.
Right, right.
But maybe he doesn't need to start with Spark.
No, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in there too. I mean, just good Jedi stuff. So, and then his Navy, well, his dark side, I mean, he's got running Navy with the Raiden the Kyber, like you said, and then he's got Zeka, he's got basically everything else is
He's got the
scum.
one
So,
Zeka bomb.
yeah,
I think he's the only person in the cut who's running Zeka here. So that's
yeah,
the thing.
yeah. He
Interesting.
dropped Zeka against
Overall.
me. He dropped Zeka against me, and I kept trying to play around him the whole game. And I think I should have just taken him out early, getting it over with.
It's tough too, because like sometimes you try to focus Zeka out so that you don't have to attack into him.
Right.
And then like, Zeka's taking some of the spice and taking damage instead.
Right. Exactly.
Shoot,
Exactly.
he's still ready, and now he's even closer to death.
Yeah. But it's good to see all that scum stuff there. So
Yeah, I think this
Listen.
deck wants to be, he's running double Boba, so he wants to be very aggressive.
right, right. And so he's using a dyad, but he only used one of each. Maybe that's because of Shadow of Nar Shaddaa. It's hard to think about when to put two of those in there. So,
Yeah.
and you probably don't really need two Zekas either. So that's probably a good call. And I guess I
Yeah,
naturally thought if I was
that's
going to run a dyad, I wanted both of each.
Double
just
Hunter in
because.
the Night, double. I mean, I don't know about double Boba and double Findsman,
Right.
but if that's really what the deck's about, like, yeah, you run double those and then just one copy of the dyad.
Right. Right. And you can get some mileage out of payout still with that. So
I think that's good.
yeah. So I'm sure he'll do well as always since he won last time. Let's see. And then
Okay.
all right, Jimmy C, fourth seed there.
Here we
So,
go. Fellow
what's-
math teacher.
yep, that's right. So Jim and I finally got to play for the first time. Like we had never actually played before this tournament.
really?
So yeah, that was fun. So had a good time chatting with him because we actually grew up close. We got talking, we realized we grew up about a half hour from each other.
Oh, I think you mentioned that. In the
Yeah,
video.
so it was just kind of neat to do that, year apart in school all those years ago. But yeah, so he's got the dyad, the rebel one with hunting empire and attack pattern delta, and then here is resolved for more speeders and
Yeah, so he's doing the capital ship.
right.
I mean, I call this the capital ship build, but I guess capital covers the only thing with the capital.
Yeah.
Ship. But
Right.
it's vehicles. He's got a
Right.
bunch of vehicles with double Leia.
Right, to try to free him up.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
running Speeder Luke to help him with the edge. And he's
Yeah.
doing a whole bunch of battles of Hoth with that. And that'll
Yeah.
help him.
Yeah. He should have some good edge, and he's got the twists with fleeing the empire too. So that's
Yeah, and I think Leia, Vader's in the pool, but
right,
it's not like every deck's playing Vader. So
right,
he's going to have a lot of say in when Leia leaves the board.
Yeah.
Set up a really powerful attack. Yeah, I'm interested. So we're going to see a couple more capital ship builds here, or like vehicle builds with the Hera dyad. It's interesting because the attack pattern delta, like there's not a lot of stuff that it's going to trigger off of,
Mhm.
bring into play, but I guess it does like just enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's got all the stuff in there. It can bring Phantom in. It can bring the Snow Speeder in from Heroes Resolve. It can bring the one. Yeah.
I guess Hera makes all the snow speeders hit a bit harder. So there's
Yeah. And then I was trying to think, is one of the ships in capital cover 2 cost 2? I think it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it can bring in that
Right.
frigate, the double bomb frigate.
Yeah. I wanted to try to get 2 fleeing the Empire in my deck, but I liked everything else too much, and I didn't want to run 11 like Anton.
I just found the stolen plans so miserable.
Yeah.
I hate playing that card.
Yeah. And then his dark side's it's toolbox, it looks like, except for John.
Toolbox,
Jazz.
except for double Hunter in the Night, because that's where the power is.
Right. Council. You can
Yeah, so he's
condition
got his
technique.
removal there. He's got, one copy of Jercera, Tool of the Inquisitorius for more
Yeah,
and then lots of toolbox here.
yeah, a lot. I think he played, I don't know if he played this exact deck against me or if it was just, pretty close, that had all these triggers with the capture stuff that just can go off.
Oh, sure. I'm
So,
surprised more people aren't running the sharpest needle. Like sharpest needle, I've always found it to be good, and it has such strong synergy with Double Cross and Nar Shaddaa with Legends AT88.
right. Yeah, that it could do some really cool combos with that stuff. And then,
Like I thought there was a mono scum build that builds around double AT88 and double Chaneth Chaw.
yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I played around a little bit with Scum, but I didn't get as much into it because I kept throwing like Vader or something else in it too. But
It's interesting though, because I just figured, yeah, sharpest needle is one of the strongest sets, but
yep, yeah,
he's the only person running it.
yep. So yeah, his toolbox interesting. So I know what I'm up against now. I'm not sure how I'm going into that, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think you're both running capital ships. It's
Yeah.
funny because like whoever wins between the two of you,
Yeah.
you're gonna be playing either me or Tyler, and we're both running double Yun for force blinding,
Yeah.
which doesn't work on any vehicle. So it's like,
yeah, I've
but
got quite a few here. So yeah, we can scroll down.
Dark Side seems to be at a disadvantage in this.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, when I looked at the pods originally, that was sort of what I was thinking, was that there is so much stuff on the dark side that looked like it'd be good against characters. It was one of the reasons why I kept leaning towards the vehicle stuff on light side. Mm-hmm. So whether that'll pay off is a different story. So yes,
I kept running decks with Niles Farrier in them during open season. But I wind up playing against character decks. Like, okay, we're gonna run.
So he's not doing you any good. So
okay,
yeah, so
your deck, you got a different take on the Rebel on the.
Yeah, so this is the deck. I played this a few times there. It did reasonably well. I won the game against you, so that made me think it might have some legs. The way it pulled off. I like the idea of attack pattern delta. I just always thought it was cool. I figured more people might lean into Spark, although it doesn't look like as many people. Well, I guess I haven't finished looking yet, but don't see as much Spark of Rebellion as I thought. But it was Spark before there was Spark, and then I just decided to go ships mainly because I was throwing decks together that day, and I felt like it'd been a while since I played. I didn't want to think as much, and I felt like doing the vehicles was less brain power that day. So I just kind of went. Just attack with big ships and see what you can do.
Mobilized Squadron seems to be pretty powerful.
Yeah. Cool. So, and then Mobilize, that was great with getting the resources. Much to probably your disappointment, I don't know how many games I've played that. I think I only drew Trench one once in any of the games, and when I got it was like the last turn when it wasn't going to do me any good. But I'd still like to actually get Trench Run out in one of those games and see if I could blow up the Death Star. And then
it's fun. It's very satisfying.
Right, because you can get a lot of damage in, and then I have the one Leia as much as anything I wanted to twist, but potentially freeing a lot of things up with her there in capital cover, just because I wanted another big ship I thought the shielding stuff are helpful.
I think I was playing a Mobilize the Squadrons Jedi deck against Donovan, and I played Trench Run early, and I was like attacking it with repair droids and tauntauns just for unopposed damage.
Right.
Block and
yeah, a capital cover. I got a lot of, I got stuff out of concentrated firepower, although, when I was able to get it off.
For concentrated firepower.
Yeah, it's great. So, so that was my light side deck. And my dark side deck, I played a lot of the fighters for a while, and then I kind of stumbled in this deck. I changed something at the end I decided I wanted to try something a little different with some of the bigger ships, and so I threw in I did the Chimera and take them prisoner at Dyad and left Quad in because I still was going for ships, and I put in one Imperial blockade, and I had I think I had two Imperial Vengeance the time I actually tried it at first, and I had the one right in the Kyber. And what I noticed when I played the game, the one game with it that I liked was that I didn't have any. The only person I had to sack was Nita to use Apology Accepted, but there was a couple in my deck. So I decided to throw Subblock Detention in there just so I had another officer I could sack.
Yeah, you get another officer there because you have two Apology.
Right. And so the game I played with it, I had two Imperial Vengeance in it, and I didn't have Subblock Detention. So I ended up with a turn where I had two of Apology Accepted in my hand, and I had already sacked Nita the turn before, so they were worthless.
So how much, because I think I watched a video where you play a TIE Fighter build.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe that's how Darkside wins games in this, that you just destroy 4 objectives by turn 3.
Yeah.
Like, that's really fast.
I won with, I was okay. I won once, and then the other couple times I tried it, I couldn't quite get through quick enough. I just couldn't. Yeah. I could get 3. I could get 3 objectives by round 3 pretty consistently, but the couple times I got stalled and only got the dial to 11 with doing that. So
how much work? What is Quat Reinforcements doing for you in this build?
I think I put it in there just because it felt like there weren't as many resources overall with some of the pods. Again, that was originally because I had 2 Imperial Vengeance in there, and then I took one out at the end. But that was as much as anything, and then if you get some of the little fighters out, you still got Talon roll. If there's a target in there, it's some extra damage. So, but I did use Kawat to help get some ships out.
Okay, so
the bigger ships,
the objective itself is helping power.
Right, the objective, I had that out and I had Need out, so then you could play a capital ship pretty cheap.
Yeah, I guess you have a fair amount of them.
Yeah, so that was what I was trying to do, and then I put in raiding the Kyber again. I wanted something that was had a resource, it had the twist, it was still Navy, so I didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah,
being out of faction. And I said, that's the one of these, the fan sets that I've played. I've included it a few times in different decks, and I didn't include all of them in things, but I did that a couple times, and it seemed like it was fun. So, and there's some troopers in there. So like the Subblock Detention gave me some more troopers to potentially.
And hey, those little troopers, they can do squad track tactics to take away important icons. So.
Yep. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. It was different. So
I wanna know how many times you're able to strike with the Chimera. You try to set a new record.
Yeah, I don't know. I got it a couple times in the game I played the other day against Carlos when I sort of tried it out for the first time. So
every bomb that it gains persists into the phase. So
right. I think I gave it something one time, and then he played some card that took an icon away after I gave it to it.
No.
So I can't remember which card it was.
It's like, dials at 6 and you got the Chimera and, it attacks.
Right.
So it does 2 bombs, blows up an objective.
Right. Free it up, go hit something else. Yeah. That's the dream.
And then you Apology Accept to go in and just stop the final.
Right. Event. Yeah. The officer part was what I felt like was missing when I was looking through this. Like, I wanted to be able to try to use Apology Accepted, but there weren't enough officers. So, but we'll see. I got 2 now instead of 1. And then let's see.
Imperial Blockade. Like I'm wondering, like just how much of a headache that's going to cause some of your opponents too.
Yeah, if I ever flip it, maybe. We'll see. I talked about that with Ivan in when we played that. It was when I was still messing around with the fighter decks, and I just felt like I needed something different after the 8 I had settled on. And we had talked about maybe throw Blockade in there, because if you happen to flip it opening turn, it could mess people's math up.
It can mess people up so much. Like if your first turn is, you in your flop, you have Imperial Blockade, and then you play a turn 1 Chimera.
Right.
But light side's just not going to attack into that.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. So just a matter of if I draw it, I guess. So
I think, I mean, you should be getting it 40% of the time, right?
yeah, I should be. I said I only tried it in the deck. I've only tried this deck really once, and I didn't get it then. But I had Kawad out, so I was making use of that. So I had Might and I had Kawad and Imperial Vengeance as my opening flop. It was pretty good. So because I had resources and I had a way to just pitch things. Like you could pitch the little ties in Kawad to pay for the bigger ships.
Right, right.
So, all right, then Carlos here, at 6 seed, he's got the smuggler deck. I think that's about what he played against me, if I remember right, or close to it. He's got the smuggler dyad with no match and last warrior, and then he had fortune and fate, which was just drawing him cards like crazy.
Oh, so that was the one that sort of, I was kind of wondering, like, what is that doing in this list? Like, I guess it has a resource, but it's about the card draw.
Yeah, that's what it felt like when I played him. Was he was just putting the what are they, the Cloud City? Well, I can't remember what they're called.
Engineers, yeah.
Yeah, whatever those cheap, the neutral units are that when they go on your discard, you draw a card, and he just kept throwing them into edge battles so he'd get extra cards. Yeah, and he seemed like he never was hurting for cards when we played. And Dune C obviously is a pretty good set. Yeah, I haven't seen that show quite as much.
But how funny is it when like a Jawa jumps out, gets a rifle, and just destroys the Chimera?
Right, exactly. It's not
like,
good.
You would have to watch out for that.
Yeah, so he's got that, and I don't remember what Meeting in the Sands does. I know that's one of yours. So.
He plays against Jolly Roger first. Like, if you're Jolly Roger, do you flop all out brawl in this matchup? I don't think you do. Those little Jawas are gonna jump out and murder you.
Yeah, if you can get it, it might be worth it there, or try to take some of those things out. But
like,
he got things going with Chewie and Zeb.
In with the engineers, and it's like, it's just this little derp.
Yeah.
And it's gonna die, and then these Jawas come out and murder you, and then no match triggers, and he gets a bunch of blast.
Yeah, and he was doing, I'm trying to remember if he had Meeting in the Sands in the deck when I played him. He was doing some stuff where it wasn't hurting him, that he was kind of planting things on the bottom of his deck and then using central computer to pull it off of there and things. So I was trying to remember if there was something in your pod that let him do that.
I think that's the Lady Luck itself.
Okay. He didn't have Lady Luck out. There was some reason he was able to do that. It was interesting.
Yeah, Meeting in the Sands is spy traded stuff, which I think he's only getting spies from Meeting in the Sands.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Chud.
Yeah.
So he can get maybe the there. He can get Bodhi can bring out the mission. Which,
right.
If he completes it, he gets a fate card, and there's good fate cards here.
Yeah, he was getting fate cards back. This must have been basically what he played against me. Now I'm looking at it.
Like, Luke, you can get a well-equipped back for multiple strikes.
Yeah.
Hey, you could even get like target of opportunity if all you
one blast. Yeah, he was getting that stuff back.
Clear the fog.
Yeah, I think he got that back too.
This is the murder. This is definitely the murder list.
Yep. Yeah.
So much targeted strike, and Jawa's jumping out. And
for
some reason it has Lady Luck in it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what this list does.
Maybe it was mainly for the resource, just thinking about that. Because no match doesn't have one.
So for his dark side, the Fall of the Jedi, Heart of the Empire dyad.
Yep. And he had Emperor's Cabal, and then your two sets, which seemed to work pretty well with it. So I seem to remember Carlos saying he wasn't really settled on his dark side deck, but he kept trying stuff.
Yeah, dark side's tough. Vader's removal.
Right.
And Heart of the Empire, like I can't tell you how many times like I felt like I've been just on the cusp of winning his light side, and then the Sith player plays There Is No Escape,
Right. Right.
Well, like it all goes to the bottom, and let's see what we're able. Oh, great, one Jawa.
Right. And force stasis can really mess you up too.
Oh yeah, the force stasis is in that pod too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of control, and he's got
Yeah.
the removal with impressive.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there that can, I think I remember him saying he was trying to build stuff that he could, a lot of things he could trigger Vader off of too. Lots of cheap
Oh, he's
Sith
got
events.
I think what this deck secretly has going for it is this is the Coruscant deck.
Yes, it is.
It's part of the Empire. I think Cabal and
Right.
Acolytes is all Coruscant traded.
Yep. That sounds right.
So if he's able to, like, maybe it doesn't all happen right in the beginning, but if you blow up an objective and then he flops into Coruscant, he's just going to plop out that defense fleet, and
Right. And just sit there.
you're never going to kill it.
Yeah.
And even if you think you can kill it, he has a guarded flank from the Jersera pod to like have something else die.
Yeah. 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 It looks like it has potential. So
I think this can seriously stall out the light side player.
yeah, it sure looks like it could. That's what it looks like it's meant to do. Like I said, and you got Vader, so you can still do some damage if you need to. So
I mean, Vader with his lightsaber, that clears. That can clear boards.
yes, it can. Yes, he can. And he still gets his ping damage. If you got those events, force, yeah, get some force chokes and things. So yeah, it looks pretty good. So I like trying to play around with the Sith. I always felt like I couldn't get enough resources, but so hopefully I guess he found a way to get enough in this. So all right, then we got Ivan. Ivan looks like he's playing my deck. I guess he liked it when I played it against him.
The same, yeah. Or are you playing his deck?
Yeah, I think he caught it from me when I played it against him. So the Haunting the Empire, Attack Baron Delta. Yep. That's exactly what I was playing. Yeah, I know I played it against him and I think I won, fairly easily. And then my dark side just couldn't get the job done. So yeah, he's playing the fighter deck. I think he was a believer of the fighters after I played him, and he and I, that's sort of what we were talking about. I just couldn't figure out what to use for the last two sets. And we had talked about Vengeance, Blockade, Phantoms. I think I initially had Council and Phantoms in mind, but I kind of played around.
Really cool things about this this card pool is that there it does seem to be so deep that he is playing the exact same light side list as you are,
right?
And then James is also running a vehicles deck but with Pilot Luke,
right?
But, that's just 3 of the top 8, and he's playing a TIE fighter deck, which nobody else is.
Yeah, I thought about it.
That's the light of day, but DS613 he's good.
Yeah. And it was sort of like when he and I were talking about it, he said he always liked TIE fighters and he just wasn't sure. And I said, well, in my opinion, you've got 8 good TIE fighter pods there. It's just a matter of what are the other 2. And it's probably in this limit environment, it could win some games. Is it going to win every game? Probably not. But yeah,
I mean, I think that's the challenge set in this season is that the light side has proven itself, or seems to be dominant, at least.
Right.
In the open round. But so dark side goes looking to all corners, and getting a dark side deck that has the ability to crank the dial.
Yep.
Blow up.
Yeah. Right. I know Imperial Vengeance he had brought up to me. I hadn't thought about it before that. I know he said because if you're losing ships anyway, you can start doing damage. If you can, because you don't care if your ships die. And so there's tech in Imperial Vengeance that lets you do things after your own ships die.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah. The capital ship.
Right. The capital ship lets you do damage when your own ships die. And it's got the ship that comes in when something leaves play. Oh, so that's why he thought about it. I hadn't put it in just because I was looking for resource stuff.
Like, I lost a TIE fighter. Here's the
Alpha ship or whatever it is. Yeah. So that's what he was thinking about. And he also thought, I guess, if the objective's out and you're going into a race, that's gonna, when they're trying to blow stuff up, they're gonna have to deal with the objective too.
Yeah, sometimes light side decks just are not fast enough against this style.
Right, right. And it can force them to play faster because they, like I said, I was consistently blowing up 3 objectives, no problem, getting the dot to 11, but I like too many of the games I played, like not that I played a ton, but like I was able to get there, with the deck. And then a couple of times I was just like, I got to 11. I couldn't finish it off. So I needed I got 3 objectives, but not 4. Yeah. So I think that's his plan. Just you got to plan to get 4 objectives as quickly
as you can. Meta when light side's dominant, like you just need, because you have to, it's the best of 5.
Right.
That your dark side deck, all these dark side decks have the potential to win a game.
Right.
And his, even if it's not going to win the game, can get him a lot of game points.
Right. And then I guess we got Tyler here is the 8th seed. I'm glad he's playing. So
Tyler, yeah. Creator of the Legends set. He has a cool light side list.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
To see some of these cards see some play. So he's running double Leia and double Baze.
Okay.
So 2 copies of Baze. And he was telling me, like, yeah, Baze has Protect Force Sensitive and Leia's Force Sensitive. This gives him even more agency over when
Leia dies. That's interesting.
And he's got a double strike event too. It's tricky to use because it's upon an objective being destroyed, but
right.
It can happen.
And
he's also got targeted strike in there, the targeted strike fate card, which will work well with the Legends Kyle because that guy's got 3 guns.
Right.
So I don't necessarily want to block him if I can't win the edge battle, and bam.
Right.
He's going to kill whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And he's got Yoda in there. So
yeah, so this deck is it's I think it's similar to Kiramode's deck.
Okay.
He's only running 1 copy of Veiled Rebellion. But yeah, this is a force control deck. You get Garnbel Iblis out there. You have Yoda to help you control the force, and if need be, you're able to counterattack hard.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's not running 2 copies of Veiled Rebellion, but he really likes Fleeing the Empire and Baze, I guess. And he's running the Wolf, so that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. And then he's got a dark side all Sith deck
hold
too.
on, I want to say one more thing about his light side list.
Okay.
So he's the only person running Legends Emerge with Kyle.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, how many minions of darkness he's able to redeem with that. Because there's an enhancement in there that you play on a dark side unit. And I think it has to have like fewer than 4 pips or so, or maybe 5 pips. But if you are able, when the unit leaves play, you can take it and use it as yours. So
now, does it have to be? Can it be any unit, or does it have to be a character?
I'd have to check it out. I assume it's character thematically. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you can like
steal Chimera.
Steal the Chimera, but who did he either got Boba Fett or Chaneth Chaw?
Wow. Okay.
Like one of our games, it was like, whew, okay.
Well, he helped design those, obviously, so he's got an idea of how they might work with the card pool probably better than I would. That's for sure. So, yeah, he's got a couple of your sets too. Like I said, that's neat. So, I didn't mean to jump ahead on you with the Sith, his dark side deck.
Oh yeah, so the Sith deck, he is also running mono Sith.
Yeah.
Heart, but he's also on the double Yun train like I am.
Yeah.
Force binding is so good.
And second phase in there. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that objective set did work when we played in person.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was powered out, powerful stuff. I was going in to, do damage, and it's like, okay, you do a damage, but I play the shield facility. So like removes the damage and it puts a shield on it for the next damage you're going to do.
Right.
Then he had the Consumed by the Dark Side event to heal all of his objectives. So
Right.
it's pretty resilient. Like
Yeah.
he healed 3 damage off of one of his objectives.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like stuff's kind of all over the place, which is good to see. It doesn't, unlike some of the other tournaments that we've done, it doesn't seem like a lot of people have settled on the same things at all.
No, I think we have really good representation in all the affiliations. Smugglers is we're sort of seeing the least amount of play with Smugglers, but with the Han Zeb dyad, like I'm running Broken Horn and
Right.
has Lady Luck in there,
Right.
Gawas and Bodhi. So like
Yeah.
that's seeing some good play. And Dark Side, I think yeah, some of the Dark Side stuff, it's like almost every pod's getting played.
Yeah, it's definitely all over the place. It feels like, except Niles. I don't see Niles.
I tried playing him, but people kept playing character decks. So but whoever wins between me and Tyler, like we're I imagine our games being miserable as light side, where the opponent just keeps force blinding everything. We're gonna have to play against a capital ship.
It could be. So. Now, are you two gonna get to play in person, since I know you're at least in the Minnesota area?
I certainly have that option. We'll see how it works for our schedules.
Yeah, I was just curious. So
fun.
Since you got,
I think Coulter is coming up.
Oh, okay.
This weekend, maybe or so.
Yeah, he hasn't played in the last couple of tournaments.
Yeah, so we're gonna wind up doing a draft Monday night.
Hopefully you can talk him to playing some again in these tournaments, because he used to play, but I think the last one or two, definitely didn't play this time, but I'm trying to remember how long it's been since he played one of these online tournaments.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get some more people again next time, but it's always fun. Even if we don't have, 20 people, it's still fun.
Well, I think, each season is very fresh and new, and you get to see odds in a completely different light. I'm excited to see, the fan sets in there, but the card pool is dense enough, like second play or second phase is in a deck.
Yeah.
That's cool. There's actually a lot of people playing Core Leia.
Yep. Yeah. 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 She showed up in way more lists than I would have thought,
she fits nicely into the vehicles list, but also the Rebel Jedi list. So
yeah. Sure. And I think every dyad did get used somewhere, as I'm kind of
every dyad is being played. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that are, I think Jolly Roger kind of stands out as the one player who's playing Zeka and playing Spark.
Right.
But I know Jonathan was looking at those lists, those dyads as well. So it's like every dyad has something.
Yep. Yeah.
And then there's people who like just aren't playing any dyads, and that's fine too. So.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think it's been a really fun card pool to play and try out different things. And I also want to say, this is probably the first time we've gotten a chance to talk about this, like while recording, that I think the decision to go to this open play format rather than the groups like we were doing before has been a really good thing. It's just,
I've enjoyed it a lot.
So I think it's the best way to do it, like based on, sort of the participation we get. It just makes it easier, because then you just find who's available to play.
And I think like people experiment more with what's in the card pool.
Right.
Being pressured to win games to be able to advance.
Yeah. I said, I'd like to, as much as anything, that I can just find whoever's playing. If they happen to be free, I don't have to worry that they weren't in my group. We can just play and it counts.
Right. Yeah.
We're all in the same group. Like I didn't get a chance to play Danny this time. He and I played lots of times in tournaments over the years. Like it seemed like we would always get matched up. So that was a little odd, to be honest. And maybe we'll get to play at some point, here in this tournament or at some other time. I guess we're on the opposite side of the bracket, so it's probably less likely to happen. But Yeah, but it was just nice. Like I said, oh, I could, I just caught up with you and caught up with Jim and caught up with Jacob. Like, hey, you free? Let's play. And so I think that was just fun rather than trying to track down
I think
people in the groups and, oh, wait, now I don't have time to play. So then, there's unbalanced groups where sometimes everybody played everybody else and other groups, only 3 people got games in and
The one thing I kind of miss was like the final weekend.
Right.
Like there's like 2 or 3 games that still need to happen.
Right.
Outcomes like can totally swing. Like you've already played all your games.
Right.
You're like, okay, this person needs to sweep them and this person needs to get at least 7 game points. And
yeah, I guess that part's missing. So there's always trade-offs, but
I think the open rounds have worked quite well. And like, if anything, I'm happy to see people experimenting with what they're playing.
Right. Yeah, it's fun. And I'm glad we still have people playing after all these years. So I was amazed when I saw you posted that Eric Dahlman played a game.
Yeah, he would have played a few more, but he wasn't feeling all that great. But yeah, he came out, and we'll invite him out for the next one. So
yeah, yeah, I thought that was pretty neat when I saw you.
I'm surprised I think he lost that game. I'm surprised he did. I don't know. I think Danny just ground him out because Danny was playing a smuggler deck with Han, Zeb, and Broken Horn. Eric had the Imperial Subjugation objective out.
Okay.
Which basically, just like it pointed at Broken Horn every turn and said, "You have no text." It's like he has no resources on that card now. It was.
Yeah. Wow.
And he just kept like building and building and.
Yeah. And I think it's nice that Tyler still gets to play some too. So since he's part of the company now.
Yeah, we try to get together and play it's fun to get together and play our games in person and such. Like before the pandemic, we were playing every month and a half to 2 months of doing a draft.
Right.
Yeah, if anybody comes and visits us in Minnesota, like let us know in advance and we'll try to. And you want to do a Star Wars LCG draft, let us know. We'll try to be there, organize a time.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Coulter's going to come up. We're going to play a bunch of games on Monday.
That sounds like fun too. So, well, I'm looking forward to this.
Designed my cycle so that we had more pods to draft from.
Well, there's some neat. You did some really neat stuff. You did. Tyler and Colby did too. So I mean, it's fun to play it and look at it. I just always wish I had more time to think about it. Usually before we get started, I just kind of throw myself into it. So I don't think I delved as deep into it as I should.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and I guess it's okay for people to start playing their top cut games now, right?
Start playing their games. There's no expectation, because this weekend's Gen Con. So
right.
People don't have to do it right away.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks, Mick. Thanks for putting all this stuff together. As usual, thanks to Jacob for helping put the carpool together too. And it's great to chat about this. I'm looking forward to see what happens in the top cut. I'll definitely record my match against Jim, and then I guess we'll just see what happens from there. If I'm still alive, and I'll make sure I keep recording at least as long as I'm alive.
I want to see your vehicle decks crash against each other's dark side.
My Navy deck will probably just crash. So, all right. Well, have a good one.
Okay. Thanks for everyone who watched.
Yeah, bye.